The crucial role of ASL interpreters, unpacking the White House briefings debate. CNN, think the fight over accessibility is done and dusted? Think again. Recently, a federal judge spent over an hour on Wednesday wrestling with whether the Trump administration should be mandated to provide American Sign Language ASL interpreters at the White House press briefings. The issue centers around a lawsuit from the National Association of the Deaf, claiming that denying adequate ASL interpretation at briefings infringes on deaf individuals' rights to access essential information in real time, as protected by the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. U.S. District Judge Amir Ali, appointed by former President Joe Biden, did not issue a decision immediately. However, he seemed to show understanding toward the plaintiff's stance. With no live ASL interpretation at the briefings, NAD attorney Ian Hoffman emphasized that deaf people are left out of the democratic dialogue. While the Biden administration had included ASL interpreters in its briefings, this approach was scrapped by the Trump White House earlier this year. The Justice Department contended that the accessible services they provide, like live closed captions and written transcripts, give the deaf community meaningful access to White House updates. But here's where it gets controversial. The NAD argued that ASL and English are distinct languages, then many deaf individuals rely solely on ASL, making closed captions insufficient. When pressed by Judge Ali, the Justice Department struggled to justify how written transcriptions could sufficiently meet the needs of the deaf community. Adding historical context, the NAD have previously criticized the Trump administration in 2020 for not providing ASL interpreters during essential COVID-19 briefings. Following a federal judge's ruling, the White House was instructed to include ASL interpreters in such events. Judge James Boasberg clarifying that while methods like written transcripts or closed captions could be reasonable in some cases, they weren't sufficient for those relying on ASL. Following this ruling, the Trump White House started offering ASL interpreters during COVID briefings. When President Biden assumed office in 2021, his administration broadened accessibility efforts. But the move to stop ASL interpreters at briefings in his second administration sparked the May lawsuit. On Wednesday, the courtroom was filled with deaf community members in support of the plaintiffs, and ASL interpreters ensured everyone followed the 90-minute hearing smoothly. What do you think about the ongoing battle for accessibility in political spaces? Should all public briefings be required to provide ASL interpreters, or are closed captions and written transcripts enough? Share your thoughts in the comments.